mountains are returning to the classroom. We tell you who will be hitting the books this week. As back-to-school season continues, we talk to experts about what you need to know to keep your students safe from illnesses like COVID-19.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We are coming up on 6:30 this Monday morning, and I think better weather is right in our future. So let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast.
It is in our future view, that is for sure. By the way, Armando and Jack and Aubrey focusing a lot on football. Rumors from a source, Pastor Bob, volleyball is starting this weekend, so good luck to those on the court. 64 outside our door here at WYMT, and yes, visibility is a little low in spots, but overall, again, it's not a widespread problem. We will maybe have a little bit more of a problem regarding fog tomorrow morning. 68 at London right now, 64 at Jonesville, 70 at Ashland, 68 at Moorhead. And the satellite radar composite showing breaks in the clouds. A few showers already starting to be picked up on the radar. And we'll deal with this action as we head through the rest of the day. Up to about 77 here in Hazard. Again, low rain chances, but it's more of a nuisance type of rain, if anything, as we kick off the work week. Now, after we get past today, would you believe there's no chance of rain for the rest of the 7-day period? If you don't believe me, come back and join us with the First Alert 7-day forecast in a few moments. In the meantime, more news with Madison right now.
All right, Tim, thank you. We now know who died in a crash earlier in Harlan County. It happened on US 119 near Mosley Lane in Ross Point community. A deputy coroner says 69-year-old James Hall of Putney was killed in the two-vehicle crash. State police are investigating and have not released any other information. One child is dead after an officer-involved crash in Pulaski County on Saturday. Kentucky State Police was called to a crash on US 27 near Norwood Road yesterday afternoon. Officials say an off-duty officer with the Lancaster Police Department, Derek Glover, was involved in the crash. Glover's SUV reportedly crashed into an off-road motorcycle, which was being driven by a child not wearing a helmet. The child was pronounced dead at the scene. Glover was not injured. One person is dead after a crash in Knox County. The Knox County Sheriff's Department says they were called at approximately 10:30 Sunday morning on reports of a crash off of Highway 229. When they arrived, officers say black skid marks leaving the roadway, showing the vehicle went over an embankment and into a tree line. The driver, 40-year-old Brad Rose, was pronounced dead at the scene. As the summer comes to an end, students are heading back to the classroom. We have already had many schools in Eastern Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia go back to school. Today, Logan County schools in West Virginia will get back to the books. Looking ahead to next week, Corbin Independent Schools, Paintsville Independent Schools, and Rockcastle County schools will all go back on the 26th. For a full list of back-to-school dates, you can go to our website, WYMT.com. It was not quite the back-to-school event some may have hoped for. Some students at Eastern Kentucky University are being relocated ahead of the first day of classes. According to the university officials, a sprinkler system in the Clay Residence Hall accidentally activated during the weekend. It led to significant water damage across 8 floors. For safety reasons, all Clay Hall residents have been relocated. Some new Wildcats arrived at UK this weekend as they moved in to prepare for the start of a new school year. Approximately 6,000 students moved in to start the Wildcat journey at the University of Kentucky. Hundreds of faculty members and student volunteers, including Director of Housing Lisa Williams, welcomed the families yesterday with open arms.
Our demand for on-campus housing continues to increase. Our returners want to stay with us, which is a great problem to have, but we also have 85% of our new students who want to live with us.
And with UK implementing their Try It dorms last school year after an influx of new students, some 2-bedroom suites housed 3 students instead of 2, making many parents and students unhappy. Now Williams says more students are picking the Try It dorms. Move-in will continue through Wednesday. The Kentucky Department of Education says the new school year is a chance to solve the problem of chronically absent students. The department says chronic absenteeism affects nearly 30% of students across the state. It is defined as students missing more than 10% of school days in a year. 77% of Kentucky schools had high or extremely high levels of chronic absenteeism in 2023. That number was 5% in 2018.
Done trainings and met with the DPPs, the principal advisory counselors, school counselors, etc. So we're working with those different role groups to provide tier 2 supports. And then at tier 3, for any districts that request follow-up, we do provide some additional coaching and training, particularly around our early warning and insights tools.
The Department of Education is also running an advertisement campaign on TV, radio, and billboards to reach parents about the issue. The number of COVID cases is increasing throughout the country, including here in Kentucky. Doctors say they expected a summer surge, but this is the largest summertime spike they have seen in years. Samantha Valentino shows us how you can protect your family.
It's common to see a surge in illnesses, including COVID, in the warmer months. This summer, though, the CDC's COVID wastewater data shows the disease's viral activity levels are the highest they've been for a summer surge since July of 2022.
It has been hotter, been a lot hotter. So a lot of people have been indoors in air conditioning. And when you're indoors, there's not as much air circulation, so you tend to transmit diseases more.
Dr. Jeff Fox says our vaccination rate is also not where it should be. That, coupled with changes in the disease, including a possible increased effectivity rate as it mutates, could be responsible for a spike in cases. The Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services reported more than 2,600 positive COVID lab tests in the week ending in August 10th. That's a significant jump from the first full week of summer, where there were 386.
You're sick and you have it, and you go to work and give it to your coworkers, you go to school and give it to your classmates. If you test yourself and you know you've got it, number one, you can be not as transmittable.
Even if your symptoms are minor, you should follow CDC isolation guidelines, as you could easily transmit the disease to someone else who's immunocompromised and could have a more serious response. State data shows hospital admissions for COVID are up in the Commonwealth, jumping from 256 in all of June to 389 so far this month.
Isolate a little longer if you have to. When you go back to work, maybe try to keep away from folks. Wear a mask if you need to, either to protect others or protect yourself.
Current CDC guidelines say you should stay home and away from others 24 hours after a positive COVID test. If your symptoms improve and you're fever-free without meds after 24 hours, you can go back to work. However, taking precautions for the next 5 days is recommended. In Lexington, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
As kids are now back in school, Dr. Fox says it is a good time to remind them the importance of hand washing and cough etiquette. Teach them to cough and sneeze into their elbow or a tissue instead of their hands. And of course, if they are sick, keep them home.
On the approach to 6:37, some breaks in the clouds across eastern and southern Kentucky on your Monday morning. The radar already a little active, and that'll be a continuing theme as we head through the rest of the day. Now, outside our door, we're mostly cloudy, 64, feeling humid. The humidity will be slowly on the drop as we head from this morning through the lunch hour into the afternoon. We'll deal with that shower threat up until about mid-afternoon. And we'll get the sunshine to warm us up to 77. After today, no chance of rain. Don't believe it? We'll check it out with the ARH First Alert 7-day forecast in a few moments. Madison?
Thanks, Tim, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:37. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. World leaders are hoping to facilitate a ceasefire between Israel and Gaza, but one country's leaders are vowing revenge.
Stop forecast.